I'm KandyCorpse, and it has been a long time since I posted on YouTube. I post on like my Instagram all the time, TikTok, whatever. But I don't really talk like this anymore. It's something that I wanted to do for a long time. I know everybody says that, but I finally found something that I'm actually genuinely interested in. And now that I have a new phone, even though I have to use like my shitty Walmart Xbox like headset in order to talk, it's something for now. I was talking to a few of my friends. So if you're from like Instagram, hey Moots, I love you. If you're new, this will be new to you. But basically, like today, I'm gonna be reacting to paranormal stories that people are posting on Reddit, different subreddits, things like that. I originally was gonna do this as like a live thing on Twitch or Instagram, something like that. But going live isn't really something I'm able to do right now. I could go live on Instagram, and I might start doing that. I need to like adjust this. It's so much better. Yeah, so I don't know when that's gonna happen. I have like a really shitty Chromebook, and it's trash, and this computer is trash. It is just like on its way out. But I'm gonna be reacting to some paranormal stories. I don't know if I'm going to make this first one a reaction or like just a reading. I think it's mostly just going to be like a reading. Also, if you hear minor like bumps and things in the background, it's my cats. Oh, anyway, let me pull up one of these groups. So I'm going to be reading from r/paranormal encounters. So yeah, I think this is just going to be like a reading type video, maybe a little bit of a reaction. So this one was posted 3 hours ago. It says grandfather at the end of life and interacting with deceased relatives. That's the title. My grandfather is unfortunately at the end of his life, riddled with dementia and having strokes. By the way, this is posted, so like I said, paranormal encounters. This is posted by resident_cucumber 898. My grandfather's unfortunately at the end of his life, riddled with dementia and having strokes weekly. He's on hospice, and our family has made peace with his last days. He's unable to recognize any of us, and it's clear that he can no longer perceive the world around him coherently. That's really sad. Like, I do feel bad for this person. He's unable to recognize any of us, and it's clear he can no longer perceive the world around him coherently. He's mostly non-speaking now, and will only grumble sometimes when he's in pain or has a primary functional need. I live very close to my grandfather and drop in regularly, although he does have 24/7 caregiver now. Last Tuesday, his caregiver called me and asked me to come over, as she smelled smoke and my grandfather was acting odd. She felt like it might be the surge or terminal lucidity right before death.
Lucidity?
Lucidity. Where am I getting the R from? They didn't even mistype it. I just said it wrong. I came straight over. As soon as I walked in, the smell of cigarette smoke hit me in the face. We have cameras in the house at all times to check in, and none of the caregivers smoke. It smelled like an old pool hall. Sure enough, my grandfather was talking complete coherent sentences, but he wasn't talking to us. He was talking to Jack. He was talking directly to the corner of the room, giving full details about the plans for the weekend. The lawnmower he had been working on, the plan for the new pool they were going to be installing, issues he's been having with my grandmother. This went on for 20 minutes. We would attempt to speak with my grandfather, but it was like we didn't exist. He couldn't take his eyes off the corner of the room. The scary part for me is that Jack was a very real person who died about 15 years ago. He was my grandfather's brother-in-law, and they were the best of buds. This by itself wouldn't have been that scary, but the smell. Neither of my grandparents were smokers ever, but Jack was an absolute chain smoker. He was never caught without a cigarette, and he didn't eventually pass away from lung cancer.
Yeah, that says didn't.
We checked every possible option in the house that could cause smoke smell. Window avail. The smell was only in his room also, not outside, not in the next room over. 30 minutes of this went by, and then it stopped. My grandfather became incoherent again, and the smell subsided. It wasn't the surge, because almost a week later, he's still with us, and it hasn't happened again. I don't believe in paranormal. I like the stories, but I've never had an experience that made me a believer, but I do feel that my grandfather is somewhat on the threshold of life and death, and maybe he's able to meet some of his loved ones in the middle. That's a very interesting story. I've heard a lot of very similar stories from people saying that they themselves, when they were on the brink of death, or like a family member or a friend would be speaking, and it's often written off as like, most people, especially with doctors and things like that, like, oh, it's just, the mind trying to cope, the state of mind, whatever, trying to make sense of what's going on around it, things like that. And then some people who do believe in the supernatural, paranormal, people of varying religions, will say that they are speaking to loved ones, or they're speaking to someone or something who is trying to help them, guide them, bring them comfort. One of the comments says, try picking up the book, The In-Between. It's about a hospice nurse and talks about this a lot in the book. Another comment says, you're witnessing the paranormal firsthand. Be grateful that your grandfather is finding peace and reconnecting with his ancestors. This one says, hello friend, the dying process is complex and very common for dying folks to see and talk to deceased loved ones. You might ask your hospice workers. She should confirm it. I would be grateful for your grandfather still being here and spend as much time with him as possible. This time is precious and it's limited. Yeah, so that kind of circles back to what I was just saying, is this is something that is considered to be common. And it kind of just depends on your outlook, whether you believe it is actually the paranormal, or if you believe that it's just the complexities of the mind trying to make sense of the world around you in your last amount of time with us here. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think in instances like that, is it, paranormal? Is it normal and natural? Or is it maybe a little bit both? Let me know. So this next one was posted 18 hours ago by Not My Laughing. Okay. And based on the title, it kind of sounds like they made like this throwaway account specifically for this title. Oh yeah, looking over it. Okay, so the title's called Super Freaked Out Disembodied Laughter, ? Yeah, it looks like they made this account to talk about this. So the story goes, hi everyone. Oh, also, I don't think I mentioned this, but for this subreddit, the stories have to be real, and they have to be written in like first person, and it can't be exaggerated, so you can't. This is supposed to be exactly what happened, and just telling people, exactly what you heard, saw, experienced, felt, etc. And it needs to be the truth. So that way, because it's not supposed to be about stories, this is supposed to be about actual, real paranormal encounters. So these are anonymous, supposedly true stories. Just in case I forgot to say that earlier. So the story starts, hi everyone, I'm pretty new to Reddit. I've lurked a few times, but never dove deeper. Never needed to, but I was referred to this sub by my friend. I lived alone. It's never been an issue. I've had boyfriends say I should at least live with a roommate, but I never felt the need. I've lived in this apartment for almost a year and a half now. It's old, but not super old. Maybe 60 years at most. Anyway, I was at home yesterday after work, winding down for bed, turned off my TV, all my lights, and headed to brush my teeth and clean up. At this point, everything was off. I did my usual routine, and as I was heading out of the bathroom to my bedroom across the hall, I heard a small thump in my living room. Figured it was just one of my cats, so I went to go check and see if anything was damaged, as my cats tend to be mischievous. Same. Girl, same. I walked in, flicked on the light, and saw nothing. Nothing was out of place. However, my cat Loki was losing his mind and all squared up at a corner of the room. And then in parentheses it says, he was facing the direction of my room, the way I just come from. I know my cats very well, and yes, they sometimes stare at walls, but he was freaked the hell out. Very out of character for him. My other cat, Odin, was spooked, but not nearly as much. After a couple of seconds of assessing the situation, I heard, crystal clear, a laugh come from my bathroom. It didn't sound evil, but it clearly didn't sound nice. Okay, I have definitely heard laughter too, and I shit myself because I was walking in my door and I heard laughter. I knew for a fact to turn my TV off, and I really thought like I was getting robbed, so I ran up my stairs. And there was nothing there. It actually is scary when you hear voices in your apartment and you're like, I know for a fact I'm alone. It's scary. I live in an apartment, so I know sounds happen, but a few things got my skin crawling here. First, I know what my neighbors sound like. Same, that's what I'm saying. When this happened, I'd only been here for like a few weeks at that point, but I knew what my neighbors sound like. First, I know what my neighbors sound like. It was definitely not them. Second, I'm located in the corner of the building. Girl, sit. Is someone writing about my experience?
He's in the goddamn wall!
Anyways, I know what my neighbors sound like. It definitely was not them. Second, I'm located in the corner of the building. The direction that sound came from would be either in the stairwell or outside the building, but it wasn't muffled. It was clear. And finally, it was obvious where the sound came from, inside my apartment. I live on the second floor, and there's no way to get that clear of a sound in my apartment without being in my apartment. And finally, today at work, I thought I heard the same. It says sane. This time, I'm not the one who messed up. It says sane. I think it's supposed to be same. Heard the same laugh in the bathroom at work, very faintly outside the door. I'm incredibly distraught and freaked out. So this comment was posted 7 hours ago. It says, might want to look carefully at your apartment, see if there are any access doors, like to an attic or crawl space. We had one to an attic area we never thought about. Turns out, ran all the way across the top of the apartment. Some teenagers found it and started spying on people going into their apartments. Everyone got a new lock from management. I do have something similar to that. As far as I know, it's 100% secure, but I have been terrified about stuff like that since literally for over 10 years. I have been absolutely terrified that there's something in the attic, in the basement, in the walls, etc. And by something, I mean like not just like a spooky ghosty, like a real actual person. Comment was posted 5 hours ago. That's actually like freaky, because I've heard of this as well. I was gonna ask, you don't have an Echo Dot Alexa. You don't have an Alexa in your house, do you? I heard people saying she randomly at times laughs out of nowhere, but it seems like you more than likely don't have such a thing. Nope. Moving on. Person said it might be voices coming through the vents that can be surprisingly clear. That's true as well. This person said, I've lived with visual and hallucinations for most of my life. The fact that it followed you to work makes me think hallucinatory. How old are you? Maybe psychosis breaks like schizophrenic episodes. They begin in the early to mid-20s. Your cat's freaking out may just be coincidental. Your mind can play tricks on you since you're writing this post after the fact. If nothing happened, your cat's behavior would not have been of note. I also find it strange that you didn't type how your cats reacted to the laughter. And then someone responded, careful man, encouraging people to think they're losing concept of reality is pretty risky business. Here to say all encounters are actually psychosis, that's pretty bad vibes. Oh, that is something that definitely is a big controversy when it comes to supernatural type things, especially on the internet. Sometimes my cats are being like extra loud. You definitely have to be careful with mental illness that can cause auditory and visual hallucinations, so that's something you definitely want to be careful of. But not everything you see and hear is going to be a trick of the mind. Sometimes it could be something that you genuinely can't explain and it can genuinely terrify you. So you kind of have to be careful of like, okay, when all this stuff is happening, and am I really having all these experiences, or is there something else going on? And that's something that is personal to you, that is kind of your own personal vibe that you have to assess. You just kind of have to figure out what's going on with you. People with certain mental illnesses are more likely to see things like shadow people, for example. So it kind of depends. Maybe you're sensitive, maybe you're a psychic or a medium or something that is somewhere within that spectrum. Maybe you're not. Maybe you had a chance encounter. Whatever the case may be, always be careful and don't believe everything you see and read and hear. Always do your research, always double check yourself. And if something feels a little fishy, something feels a little funny, that something said to you about something, 100% do research. Always do research. Never stop doing research when it comes to the paranormal or anything similar to it. You don't want to get caught up in something that is sketchy, for sure. Okay, so this one was posted a day ago. This is gonna be my last one just because this video, since I can't shut the fuck up, has gone on long enough and I don't want it to be too long. So this is called Likelihood of Light Bulb Exploding. Sounds interesting. My son's room doorway was just to the side of the loft hatch, and a banister protecting occupants from the stairs is on the other side. with a long drop to the bottom. So about 16 years ago, I noticed that the attic hatch was not down properly and wondered what my husband had hidden up there. I had no ladder, so I went to get a chair from my son's room but still couldn't reach, so I went to get a small lidded box from his room, put it on the chair, and still proceeded to climb into the attic. I was on the chair trying to get a stable balance to climb to the top of the box when the bulb in my son's room exploded and sent glass everywhere. I was a little freaked out and got down. I thought, wow, someone really doesn't want me to see what's up there. I was telling a friend I had at the time who I didn't know believed she could speak to ghosts when she said, "You idiot, someone didn't want you to fall down the stairs and break your neck." Anyway, the reason I post this now is because my mom died the day before yesterday. I hope someone was waiting for her. Maybe the same thing, or a person that warned me to not climb any further. Well, I'm sorry for your loss, OP. That is a very sad thing. There's not really many comments on this one. Just everyone basically saying sorry for your loss. Anyways, that is going to be the last one for today. I might start streaming while I do these since I do kind of talk a lot, and it'll probably be easier for me to like interact with people and then go through and just like edit a bunch of stuff and cut a bunch of stuff out later, because I don't want the actual YouTube videos themselves to be too super long, and if I post clips on TikTok, like it'll just be easier this way. So yeah, I'm going to start doing this more often, doing more reading paranormal stories, reacting to paranormal evidence, potentially reacting to paranormal YouTubers. I do watch some of them here and there, not a lot, but there's a few I watch, so I might be reacting to some of those videos. I know a few people who are like into like actual professional like ghost hunters, so I might reach out to them and talk to them about their experiences and seeing if I can talk to them. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so for now that's all, and you can subscribe here and comment any paranormal experiences you've had, or if you want to message me over on Instagram or on TikTok, you definitely can, and I can share your story and react to your story, tell you what I think, and we can have the viewers also tell you what they think, whether it's real or not, what we think happened, whatever, and could keep it anonymous, could not, I don't know. Anyway, I need to stop talking and I need to go get my dinner because it's almost done cooking now. Bye.